Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up-and-coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Today is the first day of many interviews from the most recent show that I attended here in Texas, in Killeen, Texas. Killeen, Texas is a smallish military town and is bordered by an army base, if you're not familiar with the army, if you live overseas. Anyway, so I was able to enjoy many interviews and talk to many people. And I probably could have spent another day there just talking to everybody and talking about their builds and such. But I was able to capture a number of interviews. And today, on this episode, you're going to catch up with Greg from Bricks and a Snap. And Greg is one of the very unique minds in Lego as far as a mock builder creator, whatever you want to classify it as, because he just has a different perspective than a lot of people do. And that's not to say that anybody is a bad person. You don't have the same perspective. He just has a different way of looking at things that just blows me away every time that I run into him and stuff like that. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into the interview with Greg from Bricks and a Snap. Well, guys, the next interview is here, and it's Greg from Bricks and a Snap. And you've heard from him before. Brought some mosaics again, but some that are beyond large. And when I came by your table, well, anyway, before we get to that, welcome back. And I'm glad to see you again. It's nice running into familiar faces, and yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
But
Appreciate it.
yeah, most definitely. Thank you for joining me, and we get to chat Lego, which is always fun. So your mosaics that you brought, you had mentioned that you've got a few that are new. Your Martin Luther King is different than the one that you had.
Right. I think it's different from the one from last year, I think, because, well, there was one that I donated to a gala that was a different, he was looking a different direction, and then This is one that I built after I donated that one.
Okay.
It's a different portrait.
Still looks awesome.
Thank you.
What about
David Bowie?
David Bowie. The name escaped me. Your David Bowie is massive.
Yes.
I've got a picture of it. The scale is not going to do any justice. You probably need a human standing next to it to give it a reference. So I'll have to take a picture with you later
for sure.
with it.
After this.
So why David Bowie?
Well, that's a loaded question a little bit, because there's a story behind that. The Houston Brick Club, so graciously, we get support from different groups, and for a time there was some leftover Lego retail brand store stuff that, was going to be disposed of. I don't know if I should even be saying this story, but, they were allowing us to have that, and then, that's not happening anymore, understandably, because they have a recycling program now. Mm-hmm. I don't think they did back then, but we were getting some of that brick, and, the plate round 1x1 black was on the wall at mini stores, and so members started giving me this because no one ever wanted it.
Right.
And I'm like, well, which one of these portraits could I do that would use a lot of black, because I really wanted to go much larger than my 4 foot by 3 foot ones, like the Einstein and the C3PO that I've done, and a number of others. And so it fell on David Bowie because there was a lot of black surrounding his face, more like one of those Beatles albums that they did, or like the Queen, I think, and probably the Doors. They did a number of these types of portraits back in the 70s, I think. And so it used 10,000 plus black plate round 1x1s, and I'm like, let's go for it. I got them. And then so I had to disassemble the Mona Lisa and the Van Gogh that I think I brought last year.
I believe, yes, you did bring Van Gogh last year.
Okay. Maybe I didn't bring the Mona Lisa.
I don't remember
I didn't
the
have
Mona
that
Lisa.
one. But okay, so I took those two apart, and then I had to buy even more of the other colors in order to finish the David Bowie. And the David Bowie's approximately 6 foot by 4 foot, or 4 foot by 6 foot, however you want to say it. Not quite. I think it's 70 inches. 72 inches would be the 6 footer, right? So it's two inches shy of that. But yeah, so that's it. And if you stand next to it, yes, you do get a sense of scale. You take a photo of it. It's like, oh, that's nice, you know, but you have no idea how large it is.
No, and you got to be here in person to see this.
Right.
And the great thing about the mosaics, especially the ones that you have done, because you've done it differently than most people have, is either walking from a distance and coming close and seeing all the individual colors, or starting close and seeing all the individual colors, and how it turns into the picture is incredible. Why so large? Just because you had all the black? Is that?
Well, I had all the black, and I did want to go a lot larger just because of the wow factor. I mean, just let's be honest about that. When you do something that large of a scale, then people were like, oh, man, they really take it seriously. They're like, man, this is really, really impressive. And they stand next to it. They get photos. But mainly the thing is that you get the satisfaction of seeing someone react to it and things like that. But then also there's the fact there's some level of engineering type challenge because of these 16 by 16 Technic bricks that I use. I use 140 in that one, and it's done in the Lego Arts Mosaic style, except for the brick frame I build around it. I don't use the regular brick. I use Technic brick because it makes it much more sturdy. And then I quarter it into 4 sections and can break it down and put it in my car. And so
it's a masterpiece of its own. There's nothing that large here, and all I can think about is the scale is like, man, that's something perfect for Brick Rodeo, Brick World in Chicago, all that kind of stuff, because it really, really fits. Well, all your stuff fits, but the size alone. So I love that. Your other one that you have that is new, that was not here last year, I don't remember what you called it, but it's got all the different elements and stuff. I've taken a picture of it. I'll post it up on Instagram when we drop the episode here. Where did that idea come from?
So that's a Cause-inspired. I call it it's Bart Simpson. So this artist Cause does these type of cartoon portraits of. He's done one that's a very large one of a number of Simpson-like characters, and it looks like the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Club Hearts Band, whatever that album. I'm sorry for the Beatles fans out there. I'm butchering it, but it looks like that, kind of this big ensemble type of piece. And he sold it for $13 million. Okay. And I was like, well, let me build one of these. I mean, I don't do greebled mosaics, but yeah, let me do a greebled one. And so that's where that came from. So it looks like Bart Simpson. It's got like X's over its eyes and then like a stitching for the mouth.
Okay.
And so if you look on there, I do have a Bart Simpson on there that I did draw an X's over the eyes and put stitches in the mouth with like a fine point Sharpie. And so purists, don't hate me, please. Okay. And then there's also a Jack Stone figure on there and some other "Where's My Pants" sticker and, et cetera, if you look close. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's, again, kind of like with your mosaics and stuff. I mean, it's a greeble mosaic, but looking real close at it, there's so much to really take in, the different pieces and everything, and the textures alone. Like, I'm a very tactile person, and that's my thing, and I just kind of want to take my hand and go, and just rub down it.
You can, go ahead. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
It's anyway, it's I love the way it looks. Do you have any plans to do any more greeble mosaics? I mean,
I do. I have a plan to do a Stormtrooper one.
Okay.
So look for that. I don't know exactly when because I have another couple 6-foot ones that I'm going to be doing, and I will not have to buy the brick for those. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. Do you have any commissions that you might be working on?
I am working on a commission for my cousin currently. He called me and asked me to do a flower, and I'm like, and this flower has got like 43 colors in it or 42 colors. Whew. I've never done one with that many colors, but I'm doing that. It's a 64 by 64, so it's, somewhat smaller than what I usually build, but I get the sense that it's for someone he likes.
Ah, okay.
Because I'm like, I didn't ask him the whole thing, but I just felt like it was for someone he likes.
Why do you want a flower in your house?
Right.
Okay. Hey, I get it. It's unique in its own right. And if you're, I don't know, dating someone, going to propose to somebody, or whatever, you're married to somebody, significant other, no matter what, it's still really, really cool.
A personal thing.
It's personal.
I mean, I'm like, why would you spend this? It's got to be someone you like because you're not doing it for you.
Awesome. So you and I had a small little chat before we started going here, and you've kind of blown up since I saw you last year. You had mentioned to me you've been in museums with stuff, art gallery type stuff. The news was here, gave an interview with you. You just seem to have a lot of people that gravitate towards what you do and how you do it. What has it been like to kind of have this presser of people and organization and institutions that have come to you and said, hey, we want to do a news interview, or hey, we want one of your pieces or something like that? How's that been?
Well, I like it. It's fun. My family gets excited about that as well. But I'm still Dad. I'm still Greg. And just, take it in stride. It's just a journey. We're all on a journey, and it's just kind of a fun thing. Yeah. Turns out to be more later on, then that would be fun for me. But, I just like to do, like Brick Huntress, Kate. She says, build what you love. I'm just building what I love. I'm doing that. I love that mantra, that slogan that she has, and I want to embrace that type of mindset when it comes to this stuff and not let it get to my head or anything like that.
And that's the biggest thing. I think people need to just not, like you said, let it get to their head, because some people have blown up on Instagram and other things, and it's really cool to just, like with Kate, build what you love. Don't. Well, I shouldn't say don't, but you build what you love. If something else gives you inspiration, go for it. And they could end up building stuff like you, or you could be building stuff like
them. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's just a great community, and it's the main thing is a community. If we just get props from within our community, which we do all the time, that's the most satisfying, because we're the ones that love Lego. Right. And we're making our sport, our hobby, a way of reaching out to people, embracing people, or pulling people in and stuff like that. So,
and that's the biggest thing. It's like you had said, Mosaic people, or just Lego builders in general. It's such a tight knit group. It doesn't matter what show you go to. You can walk straight up to somebody's display and table and start chatting them up, and you have a common interest, and the conversations get deep. They're awesome, and you learn something, and it's a lot of fun. So, were you at Brick Rodeo?
Yes, I was in Austin this past summer.
So, what did you take to Brick Rodeo this past year? Kind of similar, or?
I just brought the David Bowie.
Oh, okay.
And I brought a Mandalorian sculpture, like a helmet, there's somebody out of Hong Kong named Lego Amazing. Okay. And I bought instructions for a Boba Fett helmet that they built, but then I just tweaked it and modded it to be the Mandalorian helmet. And I also built the Mosaic art trophy, and then I won my own trophy. So that was kind of weird, but hey,
whatever works. Whatever works. What are you working on right now that we might be able to see later if you go to Brick Rodeo next year? Because obviously that's closer than some of the other big shows.
Yeah. So I'm working on a very large mosaic. I believe it's 50 colors for TBRR.
Okay.
As one of the...
Like a backdrop for them at a show?
Right, it'll be a backdrop, and I think they may donate it to
okay.
some museum or something after that, or they may draft the parts after. I don't know, but hopefully I can say that too. Yeah, that's what I'm working on, and then I'm working on something for First Lego League as well. I'm trying to work that project with them as well for their World Championships.
Yeah, which is awesome. I love the idea behind that.
Oh, yeah. First is a great organization. Dean Kamen and Woody Flowers started that many years ago, and we have 1 million square feet at the George R. Brown, and they rent the entire thing out. And really, they have First Lego League, First Technical Challenge, and First Robotics Challenge there, and it's just such a blast all week. And I donate my vacation hours to volunteer there that whole week because I believe in that organization. Yeah,
well, it's great because if I'm not mistaken, it's for kids, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know I had looked into it for the elementary school that I teach at, and it just didn't get enough traction. And enough interest from the school community, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, I think that's unfortunate for a lot of schools because they don't get it. But then if you go to Worlds or you go to a competition, you really understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. So yeah, TBRR and First, I'm doing something for them, and then trying to work on my own. I have a sculpture project as well that I'm hopefully going to bring to Brick Rodeo in Sugar Land next July. But stay tuned. I could be busy with other stuff by then.
Well, right. You may have some more commissions come your way or something else. Or let's be honest, as Lego builders, you start one thing and you're like, "Ooh, I have an inspiration to do something else," and it never ends.
Well, and I also recently built a portrait for a well-known Houston DJ by the name of DJ Sun, and I've known him since 1997. And I'm pretty sure he may not be listening to this because he's more on the music side rather than the Lego side, but he doesn't know that I've built this for him. It's kind of going to be a surprise, and it's I think 2 foot by 3 foot mosaic, and it's multicolored. Looks really nice. It's a very nice photo of him, and I'm looking forward to doing that because he just came out with his third album, and it's called Love Letter, and he sold out the Moore's Opera House at the University of Houston with his event, and they put it to an orchestra and other instruments, and it was just phenomenal.
Awesome. Well, that is going to be something special, I'm sure, to receive from him and for you to, to give. So that's incredible. It sounds like you do a lot of charitable things, volunteering with Lego in general. What inspires you to do that? I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Absolutely not. Just trying to give back and get people interested in Lego in general, but then also, I don't know, I think just my mom passed away a couple years ago, and she always volunteered and did things. I do things for church and that kind of, so it just springs out of that, just, wanting to give back and do things for others. And typically things will come back to you, but that's not the motivation for me for doing it. Sure. But, I just think that, I see many people that are a lot more giving and caring than I am, and that inspires me to want to, up my game in that area however I can, and this is one way that I can do it, and then combined with something that I'm very interested in, so kind of works really well.
You're passionate about it, and you've got a talent for it. I think anybody can see that when they come see your stuff. And man, I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you again and run into you at this show. I love this show because it's small. It's only the second year, but it's small. It's a different it's a different feel. It's not like Brick Rodeo or what was Brick Fiesta or Chicago. It's not one of the big ones. It's a local show.
Yep.
It's local people. It's free, and it's laid back.
It is laid back. I really love what Deanna and Ed have done here for the city of Killeen. I'm glad that the city of Killeen is behind this. I see the reactions of all the people that are here, really positive, people smiling, parents saying don't touch, but then the kids, but then I've had adults come and touch my mosaic. So, I mean, it's just fun, and it's really laid back, and we're having a lot of fun just being around the people that we see, as we go to the conferences and the conventions and stuff. So it's really awesome. Again, the community's there, and I really like being around the Lego community.
Well, Bricks in a Snap is your Instagram, right?
Correct.
Anywhere else? I can't remember.
At Bricks in a Snap for Instagram, and it's bricksinasnap.com for my website. That's really where you can find me. I also have, that on Facebook as well, a user, Bricks in a Snap, but mainly most active with the Instagram. And
it seems, it's funny because so many people are more focused on the Instagram because it's like I was saying in a previous interview, there's so many people in the Lego community that interact through Instagram, and like it's tight knit.
Yeah.
It's wide open, but it's a very tight knit group, and you have people that are doing, tutorials on a piece, and you can do
so
this.
Amazing.
And I mean, there's so many things you can find. And you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that, and then you start thinking of like, I want to put this in a bigger idea, and then it just all these eggs start hatching. And you're like, I don't have enough pieces. I don't have enough time.
Exactly.
Well, you can find him where he said. Make sure you guys go check it out. And thanks for coming on, Greg, again, and spilling the goods. And can't wait to run into you again and hopefully see something different. Potentially.
Yeah.
Holding out hope. You never know. Next year at Brick Rodeo or, heck, somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. I have family in Illinois, so I hope to go to Brick World Chicago at some point, Matt. But I really appreciate your time and what you're doing. It's really awesome that you're bringing the community get together, and Lego recognizes that as well. Having you involved with, evangelizing their, their sets or whatever else they're trying to do.
In general.
The community in general. Yeah. So really appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Again, make sure you go check him out, Bricks in a Snap, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Well, that is going to wrap up this episode with Greg from Bricks in a Snap. Make sure you go check him out on Instagram. Give him a follow. Tell him you like his stuff. His mosaics are absolutely incredible. There are so many people that do mosaics around the country, around the world, but there's just something different about Greg's mosaic. So make sure you go hit him up and tell him, hey man, I really like your pictures and all that kind of stuff. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on, I feel bad. As I was editing this, I was like, you know what? I didn't recognize when Greg was like, I really appreciate everything that you do with the podcast, that kind of thing, that he was getting at. And Greg, I really do appreciate it. I appreciate it when anybody tells me that. I think I was just so focused in the moment, it just went over my head. But I'm always taken aback, I guess, when folks are like, oh, I really appreciate what you do, because I just look at myself as a small town dude that's just having fun behind a microphone playing with toys, plastic toys. So anyway, that is going to wrap up this episode. Stay tuned. We have plenty more here in the next coming days. I'm planning to try and release one every single day for the next few days. We'll see how everything lines out. But until we meet again, I'm your Minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it.